We all know Florida State has been a complete dumpster fire since starting the 2024 season. Fun fact, actually, they were the first team in college football history to go 0-2, lose 2 games before week 1 was done. Just some remarkable piece of trash gameplay happening there from Florida State. It's been great. It's been a disgrace to the whole state. It's been bringing the entire state's football down. You see how Florida's playing. They can't even figure out which quarterback they can decide. But sticking on FSU, it seems that the fans know it. Everyone knows it. No one is hiding it as an FSU fan, and they're going. There's some Cal Bears, though. They're trying to invoke some things, get them going, actually put some fun back in the hearts of the dang Seminoles, and they're just not about it. I think the soul of the Florida State team and fan base has been completely destroyed and completely unearthed. So today, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to, of course, talk about the Cal versus FSU game. I'm going to talk about some paths to success for FSU, what they can do to improve, and hopefully improve morale, because, I mean, DJU he's like Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy right now, sitting in the pocket, soulless, and don't know what to do, how to do it, and which way to go with it. We're going to talk about Cal's path to success as well. Obviously, it might seem big and gaping, but at the same time, Cal is a spunky ACC / come on, it's a Mountain West team that decided to join Eastern Side. They are a spunky group of super liberals, so I want to see how they're doing. I didn't know liberalism in football could exist, so let's see how long that can last. After that, and actually before all that, we're going to get into some FSU practice and talk about the fans and see how Cal has been harassing the fans, and just see how FSU Twitter and Cal Twitter has been meshing alongside seeing the updates with FSU's practices. So let's hop right into it. As you see, there is a beautiful statue of a man behind me, and he happens to be taking very, very serious reps in a very, very serious football game. What we're going to do is not be funny. Obviously, they're doing a passing drill. It just looks crazy when you're 0-3 and doing that. I think that was like 2 weeks ago they were doing that. Yeah, or last week. Elite stuff. We're going to break down a few of these pieces of practice footage and see what the body language is looking like from these FSU guys, what some of the things that they're being said from these FSU guys, and just kind of get the full scope and scale of things. This is the first thing that hit me. First one that hit me. We're going to listen to this. If you can, let me know if you can hear it while I'm yelling over it. If you don't want to be here no more, go home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been, let's take this back, just a high school football player, you know how it feels. You probably know if, unless you're on one of the big state championship games, hey man, do you? Or if you're never on JV, hey man, do you? But when you have a stinker of a game, right? They say winning cures everything. Losing makes everything worse. It makes showing up to practice works. It makes people's body language work. Look at the soullessness of these guys. These are guys that just want to get to practice and get out, and I don't blame them. I do not blame them. There is no fun being had when you're 0-3. So this barely pep in their step that we're seeing here is just, I don't know, it reminds me of dang zombies walking towards the grave. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing there for these boys, okay? They're not having a good time. When you're 0-3 and you know that this practice is probably about to be HE double hockey stick, son, you're not having a great time. Let's hear what the big bad Mike has to say, and then we're going to get right into specific footage.
You know,
Danzy and Elijah Moore that they earned, I guess, the opportunity.
I think those are things that, there are a lot of guys in that freshman class that I have zero doubt that the type of player that they are going to be here. And, it is seeing them, in practice, the confidence and alignment, assignment, what to be able to do, Mekhi Danzy's made some great plays. We've got a bunch of guys that have come out, but, in that moment when to be able to translate that to, when a coach is not there to kind of be there to support you in it. Those are things that we're looking for, the consistency in that. But definitely excited about those guys, and
yeah, I think you need to start those guys now. I think, and I hope with Mike Norvell gets another year. Again, we're 1 year removed of him going undefeated in the regular season. He's going to get another year at Florida State. The plan in operandi, that's not a real word or how you even use the word that I was trying to pronounce, but the plan at Florida State should be the opposite of the Dion plan, and that should, instead of being, cookie cutter, not cookie cutter, but instead of being microwavy and super transfery like it seems to be, and what I really think what happened was they got caught in something in which they had such that great season with a lot of older players who were going to the league who did transfer in XYZ, and they thought, well, we got to get back to that same level, but it's not that simple. You have to build those teams. Transfers, an elite transfer happens together when you already have a great core. That's what makes transfers so deadly. And I think teams are starting to, and programs are starting to figure that out. You can't bring transfers. You can't bring a full transfer team in. It's just not going to work. Shout out Colorado. Shout out Texas A&M. Shout out this Florida State team. You have to be able to build a culture and then add some sparks into that culture, because if you have nothing, if you can't win a slugfest, there's not a lot of teams you can out talent. You know what I mean? Especially in college football, especially in when we get to these higher levels and bigger leagues and other teams with plenty of transfers too. They got the HBCU talent, they've got this talent, they've got the MAC talent. All these small schools, that's the path. JUCO has been usurped. And now it's just, go to a small MAC school, go to a Sun Belt school, go to a, you know what I'm saying? Go to somewhere small, and then instead of going to, I don't want like a mid or upper class, instead of going to like a Wake Forest or a Purdue, right? You go to a MAC school, and then you go to the Oregons and the Bamas and the, you know what I'm saying? Just to take that next step. So I think they're having that issue right now, and if they stay strong and don't start those freshmen, don't go too quickly, even though it feels like they need to go pretty quickly, I think they can be in a decent spot of rebuilding what needs to be built here. Just looking at a little work here. There's a specific one. So this is the quarterback. I believe, while they play copyrighted music, I believe this is the backup quarterback, the young guy. He's moving. He looks wiggly. People are saying that, hey, with all that wiggle, might as well go ahead and let him get the start over DJ. But I think there needs to be some patience, right? I think there needs to be a level. This isn't the NFL, right? Sadly, FSU fans, you might have to stomach a year of just poor play as they try to figure things out, as they try to rebuild. Let's look at DJ, though. Here we go. Week 4 practice, 0-3. And, smooth, clean, a little mechanical. I don't know. There's something about it. Maybe this is just me looking at it. Maybe this is just the way he moves. But when I see Glenn go back there, I just feel like he's got a little wiggle to him. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's just DJ in practice mode. He's just in practice mode. But I don't know. I feel like the feeling's different with that gentleman. But I could be overthinking it. You know what I mean? I think they got a return of a backer. So look, FSU should be pretty scary. They should be pretty scary. But this right here, that's what I mean, son. That soullessness. Hit that good morning. Oh my God. That boy about to do some gassers. All right, we seen enough Florida State, and this is the fact I was saying. We've seen enough Florida State propaganda. Let's get into the actual game. Let's talk about these Cow Bears. I watched a little bits and pieces of their game against San Diego State. Seemed to be a close one at first, or a back and forth at first. San Diego State was playing Cal like they hated them. I mean, going for it on fourths, multiple fourth. They went for it on like 4th and 6 in their own territory, and then come back like I think a few drives later, and then fake a punt on 4th and 8. Like they did not care. They hated those Cal Bears, and I like to see that. I like to see good running the football. Okay, they've got some interesting players on defense, but we're going to get there. I think if they run the ball, they're going to be able to find some success, just because this offensive line is one that's decently smart. They seem to be like a decent put together unit. I'm not super intelligized on them and what they got going on. We can also got some rankings here too, so we can look at it. They've got a 4.9, number 39 in yards / rush per game. In yards, whatever. So, top 40 there. Number 40 in rushes a game. So we're talking about a top 40 rushing offense-ish, right, when we're talking about. And then let's go to their passing offense, because this is what I'm going to talk about. And then we're talking about, my goodness, they're number 13 in pass completion. But okay, this is what I'm talking about. Number 79 in yards of passes a game. Number 57, number 69 in passes. Quarterback sack, number 123 in quarterback sack percentage. I think that's good. Isn't that good? I think that's good. Interceptions thrown, number 47. So their throwing offense isn't anything that jumps off the board, but I think their rushing offense, I mean, being top 40, being consistent here, and running 50% of rush plays. I think that's these. They're pretty even too. So seeing this being this even, and clearly their yards per rush staying at 4.9, being good. Their yard rush of games being good. Rush per games being 187. That's another top 40 stat there. But yeah, that's going to be their path to success. Specifically, and I hate to do this to you liberals, but sorry. Again, it's a pseudo joke. Go on Twitter. I'm not being political. It's a Cal joke. Anyway, to you Cal Golden Bears, I think the biggest issue that they have as an offensive line unit is picking up what's it called, stunts and picking things up in the pass game when it comes to offensive line, like very bad. Like I think that's going to be their lingering issue. So we're going to get into that in FSU's path to winning. But yeah, they were struggling against San Diego State with these very repetitive stunts. You know, they were showing 6 and then doing a stunt with 4, and then they would show 4, have a walk down, and then they were going to bring 6 every single time. And they were doing that multiple times, and every time they did the stunt with 4 and then did that crazy show, they got home. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, you know, that's tricking offensive line. There's a lot of you know, crazy amoeba formation. So maybe they're just getting in their head. When you go back and look at that tape, yo, they were just getting whooped. They were picking up, and this is what I mean. They're intelligent guys. They're good in the run game. They help each other out with duos. They climb. That quarterback can get it done when it comes to the red zone. I also like how they operate in the red zone. When they get in the red zone, dog, there's not a lot stopping them when it comes to the running game specifically. They can get the pass game going. It's going to obviously open things up. They like to stick with the passing game, and that's why a lot of the drives sputtered out because of it. But yeah, if they can't pick up those stunts, especially with a Florida State team that's probably going to be one of the most talented teams that they're going to face here so far. You know, obviously not the most disciplined, but that could get real nasty real quick. So Cal's path to success is to run the ball down their throat, control the game, and just keep pounding it. Rely on those big, bad, fat pandas you got to handle the business, dig out Florida State, and do what they do. The biggest glaring issue, again, is that pass protection as well. I would say on the defensive side, they fly around. I like what they do on the defensive side. I think there's a lot of good stuff, decent schemes, and I like the tenacity of the players. I think number 0, number 4 in the middle as a linebacker. The only problem, and my biggest problem with him, and shot number 44 on the edge too, that dude is pretty stout. They ain't got a lot of ass on them. You know what I'm saying? Like they, as Pac-12 teams are known to do, / ACC, a fake ACC team, I think they need a little more weight. We'll see what that looks like against Florida State, who does got some weight. They got some beefy boys, but they don't seem to be playing the most elite level of football. So that's the biggest thing to watch for them, and that leads me into Florida State and how they can win the game. First things first, if you can, I don't know if you can. Anyway, no, in all seriousness, Florida State is coming off a demoralizing loss, as we talked about. I think we got Malik Benson's of the world coming back, so they've got different things. This should be a Florida State team after getting your butt kicked 3 times in a row. You're like, oh, whoa, your perspective has to change. If not, just call the season to watch and actually go ahead and bench DJ. But if we're thinking of competing in the ACC, if we're thinking about competing and within football in general and saving this destroyed season as it is, starting 0-3, you're going to have to start doing it by getting some juice against a spunky team like Cal. Y'all need to go in there, and we got to look at the line too, see who's favoring them. But not go in there. You're at home. You need to get a sparking victory. Get your people behind y'all again. Get your coach walking with another swagger again, and get the DJ Yagaluga Hooga Wooga. You need to get him going, man. It's sad seeing him play the way he plays and lope around the way he lopes. And I know I'm not being mad at him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that I would be upset too if this is what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like everywhere he turns, he can't get anything going when it comes to the passing game. And I think at this point, it's kind of gotten into his head. So I just want to see him be confident. I think this is a decently talented team that you can do that. So with Florida State, I think you want to, similarly, I think we need to run the ball. I think on both sides of the ball, we need to run. They don't have those big, beefy boys out there for the Golden Bears. So they got a few. You need to run away from number 44. He can rush. He can rush as well as contain and keep those edges. Run away from 44 every time. Let's gash the center of this defense. Let's try our best to get inventive with the running game and get DJ involved in the running game too. Let's do that as well. So I think the path to victory with Florida State is define the running game, get a little bit better, and then get DJ involved in the running game. Hopefully that opens up the passing game. This is an interesting matchup because where Florida State lacks in their passing game seems to be schematic wise, right? They don't seem to draw great plays or give DJ a lot of good opportunities to push the ball down the field. And then when it comes to the actual blocking on some of those things, so similar to Cal, who also struggles with stunts and blockings and being consistent, just getting whooped talent-wise. Like I said, this is San Diego State. No slouch. But they were hand swiping and first move. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, man. Like I said, they weren't getting tricked by the stunt. They were just getting whooped by straight one-on-one hands, dog. Straight hand fighting. They couldn't handle it, dog. So it's a very interesting, like, I'm thinking their same path to victories is to do that. For Cal, it's about relying on your strong suit, being able to already do what you do best, use your quarterback and lean on your best quality. With FSU, it's about, all right, we need to lean on something that's not going to be able to establish in the back. The running game has not been as effective as they wanted it to be. But just like I was talking about with Colorado, you got to stick with it. Just stick with it. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Give me like one of those 13-7, or someone's going to have a kicker who's going to be doing a lot of kicking. All right. Cal doesn't miss that much in the red zone. Like I said, if they get running and they get doing it and they can move some bodies, give me 7-13. Cal, give me the Golden Bears. They come into the home of Florida State and they beat them by 1 point. I don't think FSU can get it done in the red zone. I think it's going to be a close slugfest. I hope I'm wrong. You get in the comments and tell me that I'm wrong. What is your prediction of this game? Is there any hope for Florida State? And do you like the Cal Bears, man? I appreciate y'all joining. Appreciate y'all watching. Leave a like on this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it, man. And we'll see you next time the sun shines. Be great.